Welcome back to Takacs McGinnis Elder Care News Hour. I'm Barbara McGinnis, and in today's episode we're talking about sidestepping scams and financial exploitation and abuse. How do you protect yourself? How do you protect the ones that you love? And what to do if you've become a victim.
And I'm Tim Takacs, and in this segment we're going to talk about financial abuse. And we've been talking about it for the last 3 segments. So today, in this segment, we're going to talk about some of the latest scams in the banking industry and what are our banks doing to protect our savings. So we'll please welcome Daisy Casey, President of First Tennessee Bank in Sumner County.
Appreciate it.
Thanks for being here, Daisy. So let's start with what you're seeing on the front lines. So what types of scams are you most seeing and you're most trying to guard against?
Well, right now, certainly debit card and credit card fraud is rampant. Since 2012, identity theft has also been on the rise, over 40% increase since 2012.
Wow.
Customers are definitely receiving phishing schemes, whether that's through texting, online, and they're also a term that's not been used very much, but called vishing, which is basically voicemail phishing, trying to gather information through through leaving voicemail and requiring callbacks, things like that.
Vishing, V-I-S-H-I-N-G.
That's correct, vishing.
So voicemail at home, on your phone? I'm getting those probably every day,
That's
voicemails
right. That's right.
on my phone.
And a lot of customers, even the texting, our younger generation, really everybody now texts. And so I think it was in 2016 there was a series that a lot of financial institutions were unfortunate. Our names were out there, but it was really, a lot of times it was one carrier of customers that, they may have been, a Verizon customer or an AT&T, but they were saying, hey, you're getting fished for information via text. And the banking industry, we're a lot more conservative than that. We want you to come in. We want you to come in, but we are going to call you on the phone, but we're not going to text you in most situations.
So if it comes from a bank, probably safe to ignore it?
That's correct.
Or call Daisy or somebody at the branch?
Call your banker, most definitely. If there's any situation that comes about that you're not comfortable with, pick up the phone or go to your bank and alert them so that they can put some safeguards in place, not just for you but for your account.
So what safeguards do you currently have in place for your customers?
Well, all banks by law have certain safeguards in place. I think a few that certainly all the banks that have debit and credit cards, they partner with Visa and MasterCard. So, Tim, if you're in Hendersonville, Tennessee, using your debit card at a local restaurant, and then later on that evening there's a charge from a Walmart in Michigan, it's not very likely that it's you. And so all banks subscribe to some sort of, back in the day we didn't even have departments, and now we have entire fraud departments dedicated to identifying those. Customers sometimes can be frustrated if
there's a stop on there.
If there's a stop, and it inevitably is somewhere where they're with their children at the Sonic and they're trying to
and the children are going, OMG,
That's right.
Mom and dad messed up their card again or something.
Well, but those things, sometimes we place hard holds just so we can identify and force you to pick up the phone and call your bank and say, what's wrong with my card? But a lot of times, I think people, if there's something wrong with their card, they think the money's not there. Well, the money's there. We're just trying to identify and confirm that that's not you. No. A safeguard is if you really were in Michigan and you really were going to that place, you can put travel codes on your card to identify that, hey, I am going to be, in Michigan or California or in Europe.
Travel codes?
Travel codes.
Okay.
Just contact your bank and let them know that, hey, I'm going to be in Europe from this date to this date, and then they ultimately will identify that legitimately is you, and that's legitimately your charge. That's just one little item. I guess when customers change their address, specifically if there's a credit card or if if it's done over the phone, a lot of times there's going to be a mailer or there's going to be another touch point on the back end. Sometimes it can be just in the form of an email that states, Tim, was that you? Is this legitimately you? And if you've ever contacted your bank to just get an account balance, there are certain identifiers, and if you
don't
are not
remember
able,
them.
don't remember them, or if you're unable to come up with them, please understand that it's, again, us trying to protect your personal information and your bank account information. And if that's a problem, I highly recommend you go see your local banker. Another thing I kind of mentioned, alerts. Certainly for customers, if we all have patterns. We receive our payroll check and then we spend our money accordingly, but that generally is the same month over month. But there are alerts that you can, if you always maintain a $1,000 balance, then set an alert through your online banking, and all banks have some sort of alert system that will, if the balance drops below a certain mark, not only is it going to alert you from a customer service perspective and to notify you, but that may be something that's unusual for you.
Alert may be a text, an email.
It can be either one.
Anything?
You can choose.
Okay.
You can choose how that alert will come to you.
Are those easy to do?
Absolutely easy. We're in the technology age, so certainly our younger folks are always using the internet and online, and really online is now your phone. It's really it's really fun.
So I was thinking, a lot of the elderly people that we work with, they won't consider online banking because they feel like it's not safe. How safe is online banking?
It can be safe. It certainly, if you're using your home computer and if you're using wireless, but you're on a protected, a password protected network, certainly you want to use your firewall. So your computer has certain things built in. Go ahead and subscribe to the security software. But also the banks, we have, again, some triggers. So we're going to ask you not only for your username, which is very specific to you, but also passwords. So you want to make sure that your password in general is at least 8 characters or more, that it's a combination of capital letters and lower letters, numbers, special characters if you can use that. Right now, we do not recommend that people utilize the same password for social media or shopping sites that they use for their financial.
That's a good tip, because I could see that. If somebody broke into, say, your social media account.
That is correct.
They're going to try.
And then how many places can I use this password?
Absolutely. And by law, the banks and financial institutions and credit unions are highly regulated, and we do pay for the highest level of security on our websites. However, if you're shopping on a site that you've connected to through Facebook, we're not certain of that, and you're not either.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
So we're speaking with Daisy Casey from First Tennessee Bank in Sumner County. So we're going to take a break, and when we come back, we will continue our focus on the banking industry. We've got Daisy's contact information up on the screen. We'll come back right after this with continuing our conversation with Daisy and with Amy Heaslett from Tennessee Bankers Association. So stay with us.
Great.